Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news all right, folks. There's some wild speculation buzzing around the NFL lately, and it's got Falcons fans paying close attention. Rumors are swirling that Kirk Cousins might be heading from the Atlanta Falcons back to the Minnesota Vikings. And let me tell you, if that happens, it could be a game changer for both teams and, more importantly, for the NFC South and NFC playoff picture. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, Falcons trading away Cousins? That sounds crazy, right? But let's dig into the details because the NFL is always full of surprises, and this one has some real substance behind it. First, let's set the stage. The Falcons, sitting at a 4-4 record, are facing some challenges on offense. Their defense has been solid, but their offense has struggled at times to put up consistent points, averaging around 20 points a game. And when you look at their overall roster, especially at the quarterback position, there's a lot of talk about the long-term rebuild, especially with Desmond Ridder still developing. The idea of trading Cousins isn't just about getting rid of a veteran. It's about acquiring draft capital, clearing cap space, and building for the future. Sources close to the situation suggest the Falcons are eyeing this move as a way to bolster their roster, particularly on the defensive line, where they've been giving up 4.2 yards per carry. That's a lot of yards on the ground, and fixing that run defense is critical if they want to make a real push in the second half of the season and beyond. Now, why would the Falcons consider moving Cousins? Well, for starters, they see a window to get some valuable draft picks, specifically second-rounders in 2026. That can help them rebuild their roster, especially on the offensive and defensive lines. Plus, they're looking to free up around $30 million in cap space, which opens up even more flexibility to sign or extend key players down the line. But the real kicker here is that the Falcons are a bit skeptical about committing heavily to a 37-year-old quarterback, especially one like Cousins who, while highly accurate and experienced, isn't the long-term answer at this point. The idea is to pivot toward a more cost-effective approach, maybe even make a splash in the 2025 draft, which could include taking a younger quarterback or bolstering other areas of need. On the other side, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who are sitting at 6-2 and riding high in the NFC North. But there's some instability behind the scenes. Their backfield has been a concern since Sam Darnold suffered a concussion in Week 8, which put him on injured reserve. That puts a spotlight on their quarterback situation, and Kirk Cousins has been a stabilizing force for the Vikings all season. He's a guy with a ton of experience, around 39, passing yards, 270 touchdowns, and an impressive 82.5 PFF grade. His short pass accuracy is elite, completing about 67% of his throws, and he's known for his quick release, averaging just 2.1 seconds from snap to release. That kind of efficiency is exactly what Kevin O'Connell's offense thrives on, especially considering the Vikings' reliance on short, quick passes to keep the chains moving and to get Justin Jefferson involved. In the current 2025 season, as of Week 8, Cousins has thrown for roughly 450 yards with 9 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. His stats are solid, especially considering the injury setbacks. His adjusted EPA per pass is plus 0.28, and his QBR is sitting at an impressive 92. For his deep accuracy, throwing 62% of passes beyond 20 yards is among the top in the league, making him still a dangerous threat down the field. And even with some injuries like the shoulder issue he suffered in Week 3, he bounced back strongly, throwing for 320 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Seahawks in Week 7, which was one of his best performances of the year. Now let's talk about why this potential trade makes sense for the Vikings. Trading Cousins, especially at this point in his career, could give them a massive salary cap boost, around $20 million that they can invest elsewhere. Plus, it would allow them to focus on grooming younger quarterbacks or even making a big move to sign a rookie or veteran free agent in the offseason. Given their current 6-2 record, the Vikings are in a good position to compete for the playoffs, but they need stability at quarterback, especially with Darnold on IR and the division race tightening. Cousins provides that stability. His experience, leadership, and ability to execute in clutch moments have been invaluable. From a strategic standpoint, the Vikings see Cousins as a guy who can still elevate their offense. He's a mismatch creator, especially with his quick decision-making and accuracy. His ability to adapt to Kevin O'Connell's offense, which is built around quick throws and high-percentage passes, makes him a perfect fit. Moving him back to Minnesota would not be about tearing down the team, but about maximizing their chances of winning right now while preparing for a future without Cousins. If the trade goes through, projections suggest Cousins would continue to throw for around 800 yards, 25 touchdowns, and maintain a high level of efficiency, especially with the improved short pass accuracy that has been a hallmark of his recent play. But why would the Falcons be hesitant? Well, it's all about the rebuild. They're not quite ready to give up on the season, and they aren't convinced that Cousins, at 37, is the answer for a long-term rebuild. Plus, they're wary of overcommitting at the quarterback position when they're still trying to develop Desmond Ridder. The idea of trading Cousins now might be seen as a luxury move, especially considering the Falcons' cap situation and their focus on building from the ground up. They might prefer to hold on to him for a few more weeks or even consider a different strategy, especially since Cousins' contract could be a little tricky to navigate in a rebuild scenario. So, what does this all mean? If the Falcons decide to go through with the trade, it's a clear signal that they're prioritizing their long-term rebuild, leveraging Cousins' experience to gather draft capital and cap space. It's a smart move if they're looking to retool quickly, but it also opens the door for the Vikings to capitalize on Cousins' stability and experience, especially as they push for a deep playoff run this season. For the Vikings, bringing Cousins back would be about maintaining offensive consistency, especially with Jefferson and their efficient passing game. It's about solidifying their chances and maybe even making a push for a Super Bowl appearance, especially considering their odds improving from plus 800 to plus 500 with Cousins' X-factor in the mix. In terms of the NFC North, this move could shake things up quite a bit. The Vikings, with Cousins guiding the offense, could become even more dangerous, especially with his experience against top defenses like the Lions and Packers. His ability to make quick decisions and lead clutch drives has been proven time and again. The Vikings' offense could see a boost, pushing their points per game closer to the 27-point mark they hit in 2019, which would be a significant upgrade over their current output. Plus, his leadership can help stabilize the locker room, especially if Darnold's injury prolongs or if other injuries crop up. As for the Super Bowl odds, having Cousins back in Minnesota could swing the balance a lot. Their odds could tighten from plus 800 to plus 500 as they gain a proven, experienced QB who can elevate the team in critical moments. With Cousins, the Vikings could be seen as a legit contender, especially if he continues to perform at a high level, making those clutch throws under pressure and leading drives that keep defenses on their heels. For the Falcons, trading him might be viewed as a step back in the short term, but if they hit on their draft picks and develop their young talent, it could pay off big in the future. In summary, this is a story that's still unfolding, and it's a reminder of how fluid the NFL can be. Trades like this happen all the time, and they often reshape the landscape of the league. For Falcons fans, it's a tough pill to swallow, losing a veteran like Cousins, especially considering his experience and leadership. But if it's part of a bigger plan to rebuild and come back stronger, it might be a strategic move that pays off in the long run. Meanwhile, Vikings fans, on the other hand, are likely feeling excited about the prospect of Cousins returning and helping push their team further into the postseason and maybe even to the Super Bowl. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think trading Cousins makes sense for Atlanta, or are you worried about losing that veteran leadership? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. This team is always evolving, and no matter what happens, one thing is for sure. We're all in this together, supporting our Falcons every step of the way.